This is the second video using the new media plates, and this time what I want to do is to show you some different techniques and advanced techniques that we can get from it. So if you can see on this card here, we've got a resist technique where the snowflakes are in white. We've also been able to use the media plate itself to make an ink pad to get all the different shades and variations we've got across these snowflakes. So in this video I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced. So, as explained in this second video, I'm going to show you the resist technique using the media plates and the press to impress stamp press. So, to start with, I'm going to take the round media plate this time, pop it into position on my card, which I've already secured in my stamp press using the two magnets, and just close the door. That will pick up the media plate. Quick tip here. As this media plate is clean, it may be a little bit sticky on the actual paper, but you may get some bubbles in your media plate. Once it's in position, just pick it back up and put it down to stop you getting any bubbles there. So what we need to do next is to apply some ink to the plate. So I'm using the dye eyes ink again, and I'm just going to apply directly onto my media plate a layer of the night. I'm then going to take the ultramarine and add a band across the centre, and I'm then going to take some of the ocean across the bottom. So I've placed all three colours along there. Now I'm going to just take a brayer, and this is a hard brayer as stated before, and I'm just going to run that across the plate just to merge the inks and take off the direct shading of the ink pad. We'll pop that to one side, and then next I'm going to take this little snowflake stamp. Now this comes from my Winter's Trees clear stamp set from the John Next Door range. I'm going to pop that on a normal round stamping block, and then I'm going to bring in Perfect Medium. And Perfect Medium is a clear sticky ink, one you would use for embossing and with embossing powders. Now you can use Perfect Medium, Versamark, any of your clear inks, and all I need to do is ink up my stamp and then take my stamp to my plate, press, which will pick up the ink, and then on this occasion I'm going to drop it back onto my paper. What this gives me, as I repeat it you'll be able to see, it eventually turns the media plate into an ink pad. So each time I pick up colour, I'm using a different random place from the media plate, and that means that I'm getting different colours. Hopefully this will come through on the video, but what I'm getting, these snowflakes are stamping in a mix of all three of the colours that I've got on my media plate. So I'm just going to do a couple more, stamp them around randomly, and then all I need to do next is to close that. So what I'm going to do is just simply close the door on the stamp press, give it a good push down. This is especially important if you do get any bubbles in there, and that will, when I lift it, you'll be able to see, will have transferred the colours onto the paper, but also where I lifted the ink off using the Perfect Medium and the stamp, I've got a resist, so I've got white where I can see back into the paper on the base. Now should I want to add any more layers to this, I can do that just by taking again one of the Eyes Ink ink pads, and I'm going to add this time the night, and I'm just going to stamp the snowflakes directly onto the media plate. Effectively what you're doing is making a snowflake stamp, or a stamp of anything by doing this. Again, close the door, give it a good press. This is why the press to impress is so good. With the double foam inside and on the bottom, I can press as hard as I want and not have to worry that I'm going to squish the stamp at all. Again, peel it off, and you can see I've got darker blue snowflakes on there. I can even take my snowflake stamp, ink it, and add a few direct random snowflakes in the darker colour around the piece. So we've got our background, we've got our snowflake, we've got our snowflakes in resist. What I'd like now is to add a little Christmas tree to it. So I'm going to take the Christmas style tree, which again comes in the Winter Trees clear stamp set from the John Next Door range, put it exactly where I want and just close the door, which will pick it up. And to get something nice and sort of dominant that will stand out against this, what I'll do is I'll show you what happens if I stamp it in the blue. Because I've used the blue in the background, I'll get a nice imprint, but it will also be relatively pale. Now, because I want this quite strong, all I have to do is ink this again and close the door, giving me a second layer. Ink it again and close the door, which will give me a third layer. And as you can see now, it's a lot stronger and it actually stands out against the background. So finally, to finish this, I'm going to add a little sentiment. So I'm going to place the sentiment exactly where I want. And this time I'm going to just close the door to pick it up. And I'm going to ink this in the first instance with the lightest colour I used, which was the ocean. And I'm going to close the door. And I get the beautiful ocean look. I can then take the night and just pop this randomly on top of the stamp and close the door, and that way I've got a beautiful two-tone where I've got the ocean colour shining through and little bits of dark blue in different places. So that's your resist technique, very simple to achieve using the stamp press and the media plates. I'm using dye-based inks, and again I used Perfect Medium, which is a clear sticky ink. The stamps came from the Winter Trees section from the John Next Door range, and that's everything. For more inspiration, visit my blog at www.johnnextdoor.blogspot.com. Enjoy!